Okay, so we're live. Welcome back to the Magicminds podcast. I'm Matt Burke and you're watching and listen to the Liberties #1 podcast. We're the best podcast in Dublin, eh? You up the Liberties, you up the flats. I think I've got a fantastic interview for you today. It's with a young man from the Liberties who is a rapper. I've been following his work on Instagram. I've seen him around the area and I really like him. I don't know much about rapping, but I know this is quality. For my ears, my eyes, I absolutely love him, and I think he's going to be a star. So I was dying to get him on. And look, I truly believe, at 20, to be able to step out from the crowd, I know it's 2020, but people still give you a stick in the inner city. Oh, you're a rapper, you're going to be the next Biggie Smalls, you're a white Eminem, whatever, just giving you a stick. So for him to step out and make these videos, and I mean, I think they're quality videos. So it was brilliant getting him on. We talk about his passion, we talk about his inspiration, we talk about the work that he does. And how he goes about, and it seems to me that he's ahead of the game. He's staying relevant, he's producing deadly stuff, and I absolutely loved it. So I was absolutely delighted to have him on. Watch the interview, listen to the interview, let us know what you think, and as always, give us your feedback, let us know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for your support on social media. Thanks for all the feedback we get about the videos. As always, I want to thank Noel Riley from Rooney Media Graphics, Andy's from Liberties Media Hub, Shannon's Hope Line, and to you, the listeners and the watchers, thanks very much for all your support. And as always, mind your little self. Take care of you and service of your family. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, so we're live. Welcome back to the Magicminds podcast. I'm Matt Burke. You're listening and now watching the Liberties #1 podcast. We are the best podcast in Dublin, eh? I've got a special guest on the show today. I'm joined by Paulie. Paulie, what's the crack?
What's up, man? It's good to be here.
I'm absolutely delighted to get you on. I've been looking to get you on now probably before COVID, wasn't it?
It was a while before COVID, yeah, a couple months before. I think we originally talked about it, but wasn't too concrete. But all of a sudden I'm here. It's
Deadly.
good to be here.
What do you think of the new studio?
Oh, I love it. I seen some of the photos you put up on your personal Instagram about it, and it's great. The way it's set up, I think it looks amazing, honestly.
Deadly. I'm delighted to have you in. Our first guest, first rapper. Guys, I've asked Paulie to come on the show today because I've been following Paulie on Instagram. He's a rapper. Like, I don't know anything about rapping, but the fact that he's from the Liberties, he's stepping outside his comfort zone, it's against the grain. He's following his passion. I just really want to tap into that. As I say, I'm an old man. I don't know too much about rapping, but hopefully today you give me a bit of an education.
Not too old.
I love this kid. He's super nice. Come here, you have a song out at the moment, Blinded by Your Love.
Yeah.
It's absolutely fantastic. As I say, I just love it. I just love the sound. I love the production.
Thank
Your
you.
pal Rob done the visuals of as well.
Yeah. And another friend of mine, Connor, did the editing. So it's sort of like a parent teamwork, but about them. So Robbie would shoot it, Connor would edit, and we'd just do whatever audio is needed.
Deadly. So Blinded by Your Love, tell us about it. What's the crack with it?
Blinded by Your Love, it was sort of, originally at this time, it was about 7 months ago, I originally released it, but in like audio format, there was no visuals behind it, there was nothing like that. But I always had like a story set in mind to it. And me and Robbie would talk about it back and forth, but it wasn't up until about, I'd say, a month and a half ago when we started talking about doing videos and talking about progressing, that we did a video for a song I brought out just probably about a month ago. It was pretty recent after we brought it out in audio form. Then a video was called Burning Bush, and we just wanted to keep the ball rolling. So I sort of said to myself, I always had that in the back of my mind, doing Blinded by Your Love, so why not do a video for it? And Robbie got on board straight away. Connor said he'll do it. So
I love it.
just came together.
What I've noticed about you, been following you over the last number of months, and I texted you the other day about saying talent is great, but work ethic, it'll really push you on.
Course,
It's all right having talent, but really working hard is the key to anything. You seem to be hard working. You're always pushing something out. You're always pushing songs out. You're always doing something. Is that right?
It's the way I see it. It's sort of like, even when I'm doing, like, I could be working, I could be with family, I could be with friends, but in some sort of way in my mind, I'm not doing nothing. So I always have some sort of time to like progress in it, even if it's just making up rhymes in my head or getting on my phone and writing stuff down. It makes me feel like I'm progressing. So I always sort of just go on to that, to like better learn myself, I guess.
I love it, and that's something that I done with the podcast. So I made a decision that every day I'm going to do something.
Yeah, one little thing.
One little thing. It's a step, isn't it?
Yeah.
Towards it. It doesn't have to be all write a whole song or write a whole rap or
No, it
do a
doesn't
production.
if you're ever feeling like, I'm sure like when you got like the drive to build this studio, it's the same sort of drive I get when I sit down. I'm gonna make something big. Like I'm gonna plan a video, or I'll write a good song. Like it's the same sort of drive. But like baby steps works too.
Love it, great. And anyone watching, anyone that's interested in following a passion, that's great advice. That's great. Shout. Just a little step. Do something simple towards it every day.
Of course, man.
Deadly. I love it. Let's go back a bit. Before you got into all this, where did you grow up? Tell us about the school you went to, just so we get an insight to your life and how we built to this position.
I grew up in the Liberties, but more Brightway Street flats, and now I'm just living down by the Coombe, same area. But what was the other question besides?
Like you're growing up, school. What school did you go
to? I've been to 3 schools. I've been to fucking Bridget's. I was Francis Street and James Street, and if I had to pick one that I liked the most, it was James Street, just because I felt like it flew through and.
You up the Jambo?
But yeah, 3 schools. It wasn't much of like people say they hate school and all. I seem to enjoy it most of the time. Like there was like obviously there was hassle. Like everyone gets, there was bad days, there was good days. But at the start of it all, my dad gave me great advice. He said, whatever happens, put your head down, just walk through it. I did that the whole, like, exam wise, homework wise, even just normal going in and getting it done. That's what got through. That's what got me through it, I should say. Sorry.
Yeah, and look, you're still following that advice today. You're still plugging away.
Yeah.
You're still working.
It's life advice.
It's just life advice, isn't it? Was there any point, whether it was in Fran or Bridget or Jambo, that there was a promotion of creation, as in for music or dance or rapping, or was that promoted back then for you? Because I know when I went to school, it definitely wasn't. Because if I said I was going to be a rapper, you'd be called all sorts of derogatory names, and to be obviously homosexual would be thrown in there a lot. Was that like that said to you?
Not really. I was called a homosexual at one point, but that's a different fucking story. And but the whole like there was a stigma about it. There was like, oh, he's trying to be a rapper. There was mainly like, oh, you're just trying to get famous. That was a big one. You're just trying to get famous. When mainly like, I wasn't doing it to even promote myself. Like I was doing it. There was times where I'd record a song, I'd find a beat on YouTube, or just a beat that a rapper would use. I'd record me rapping onto my phone, and I'd show friends, and I'd show my brother and my sister and all that. Like I wouldn't be doing it for promotion. But then as opinions came in that, oh, you're good, you're great, it turned into like you're some of the best I've ever heard. I just said I'd go full steam ahead with it.
Oh, that's savage. And it's interesting that you actually went to Jambo, because a pal of mine that went to Jambo, Mark Shane, he's in the script now. And I remember like people saying, oh, you still mate your mate Shane, or he's in that band, he's a bleeding faggot, and like they used to say those things. And like he was a dance teacher, he was a dancer, he went on in bands, and like what you're doing, he followed his passion. He didn't give a rat's what people said or did. He just kept going and working
Sticking
hard.
to it, exactly. Sure, he's a fan of the baby steps as well.
Yeah, and it's about that. So at what point did you realise that you were into rap? Where did rap come into your life as a kid? How young back can you relate to that?
Listening or making music, just rap
Listen,
in general.
where did the passion come from? The liking of it.
There was a lot of I was talking to you before this started about me dad having a lot of influence on not even what I listened to, on just the genre in general. He played a lot of rap music around me when I was growing up, and more as the years went on, I think I sort of found my own. Like I'm into like not death metal rock, but like sort of like rock and roll, like 80s rock and roll. I'm into reggae. I'm into all this sort of music that I sort of found through myself. But it always sort of comes back to like hip hop, and I think that's where, like, as I said, my dad, like, he got me into it, but he didn't get me into writing. I sort of found that myself. But it sort of always comes back to that, really.
When did your process of writing start? What was there a point where you can remember back? That's where it all kind of started, and how did that start?
There was it's just I guess skill, because I wasn't much of a writer. I was more of Like there was times I was even considering like getting into film, like making film or writing scripts or something like that. But it was because it was mainly because I didn't have that like the drive yet to write a song. But it was going into English class and then you have to learn how to poetry and you have to study poetry. It sort of got me into that. But like a more up to date version of poetry is rap.
Wow.
Well, rap stands for RAP is rhythm and poetry.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus,
So it's sort of like a form of, I don't know. The first sort of thing I wrote, it wasn't a song, it was a poem. I don't even remember it, but like I remember basically it was something about the wind blowing leaves and all, and that just sort of got me on a little writing bus, and that was when I was about 13, 14.
Deadly.
I just haven't stopped.
Yeah. What was the first piece you ever wrote, or the first rap song that you wrote? Can you remember back?
A rap song that I wrote. My sister will know this because she was there while I wrote it. It's called "This Is Ireland," and it was a real like. I talked about like I didn't know much about Irish history at the time. I knew basis. It was a time where I was going through like 1916 history in school, so I talked a lot about that and like about rebels and like old Irish like what would you call it, like not folklore but like myths and like all leprechaun. I just talk like generalize it, but that was one of my first songs I ever wrote. I remember that, and then it sort of went into now like I can't just stick to one topic. I have to like because at the start I was thinking of just I was trying to anyway. I wasn't very good at Irish in school, but I had a plan in my head that I was gonna master Irish and try and rap in Irish all the time. I never got to that point. I never got to that point. I probably will someday, but I never got to that point yet.
Absolutely fantastic. I do some creation, like, obviously at the podcast, and I make videos, but a lot of my creation comes from my past. My poison is now my potion. You know, when I write poetry, that comes from emotions. If I'm feeling down or anxious or nervous, and then when I come out, I reflect upon it. Where does your writing come from? Where does your inspiration come for songs or putting pen to paper?
I think the same sort of analysis you gave on it, like that. Your past is, what did you say? Something.
My past, my poison is now my potion.
Yeah,
I use my past now to inspire me, and
I feel like anything I've ever been through has been put into some sort of rhyme or some sort of lyric in some way. Like even if it's like a tragedy or if it's one of the greatest days in my life, I feel like somehow I've mentioned it, or I am to mention it in some way.
Cool. Is there any iconic songs that you have there that mean so much to you, to your heart? Is there anyone that stands out? Like I've got like a poem I wrote recently, "Never Enough," where I've always had this inner feeling of never enough, and it's only now in the latter years that I feel I'm more than enough.
Yeah.
And it's something that I stand over and I'm proud of. Is there any songs that you can, or raps that you can share with, like, as in tell us about that really that you wrote that's...
It's I look up to my favourite rapper, and I personally think he's the best rapper that ever lived. He's not living, but it's Biggie Smalls. And it's his song "Juicy." Like it's a cliche song to say like, oh, that's my favourite song. Or it's not even my favourite, but it's sort of like it reminisces with me because like he came from nothing and became something. So I haven't been on that journey yet, but like hopefully I get to sort of live something like that, but come from nowhere, go to somewhere, or come from nothing and be something.
It's interesting you say that. I done an interview with a guy called Steve Gunn. Steve Gunn, I think it was. He was in Fair City and all that. And I said to him, I can't remember what the comment was about musicians or something when they make it. You know, they're in pubs, but then when they make it. And he said to me, they've already made it. Aren't they playing in a pub? So you saying to me you haven't made it, to me now looking at you, you have made it.
Yeah,
like, yeah, you might not be at where the social expectation is, or you need to either sell 1,000 or 1,000,000 albums to be made it. But to me, like, you're putting videos out on YouTube, you're putting yourself out there. Like, to me, you've made it. What do you think of that?
In a sense, I guess you're right. I don't really look at it like that. I look at it because like I have a lot of friends that's like they have expectations of one day like being backstage at one of my concerts or like something like that. But like that's where I have that expectation of that's where I need to be. Not like like I'd love to just, because it's completely off topic, but I make most of my music sitting in my bedroom, or what I call, like, it's a spare bedroom, and I just turn it into a studio. But that's where I make most of the songs, and it came from such a weird place as well. Honestly,
It's okay.
I'm just
Come here. Do you know what I wanted to go back to was, I was saying to you, I have a poem that I absolutely love,
Yeah.
and it means a lot to me. Is there any songs or raps that you have that same effect to
Yeah.
you, that you can really go, do you know what, I wrote that in a time where, you know, I was really down, or I was really up, or had some absolute inspiration? Is there any of those raps that you have that you could share with us? I want to just get inside your mind and get inside the music that you
like
wrote.
a personal rap that I've made, or
Yeah,
anyone.
no, your own stuff.
Oh,
it's your
really?
stuff, you know, like your own work. I want to get to know that.
Well, see, as I was saying, like, most of my stuff comes from a personal background, and like, me as a person, I'm not one to like talk personally, but if I make a song about it, then I always see it as being out there.
Deadly.
And as far as like what songs I think a song I'm thinking about doing a video for, Think Too Hard. It's a special song to me. It's a song that me and a friend of mine worked on. We didn't work on it for too long. It was like a week's worth of work. Like, we just sat down together, wrote our parts, and we got it out. But it's a storytelling song because we do two verses, a verse each, and on my part, it's sort of like it's a real mental health, like, struggling sort of song, and on my part, I'm sort of telling the story as like the sort of fella, you know, that bottles it down and keeps it deep. That's my
Brilliant.
side of the
Deadly.
story. But when my friend, as I said, Russ, comes into it, he tells a totally different story. He tells about, like, one of his lyrics is overthinking has me losing my mind. I feel sick sometimes. I just rather go blind. So, like, he's going real, like, deep with it, rather than I'm sort of shying away from it. That's a really meaningful song to me. Even the chorus, you know, I can't do it justice because Ross can sing, and he sings on that. But
Deadly.
that's an upcoming song and all. But that's a real meaningful song to me personally.
Love it. What is the process that you go through when you want to produce a song? When I was back, say, a year ago, and I wanted to start making videos, you know, I was forced, and I was, I'll do this and I'll do that. What way do you produce your songs now? Do you come up with an idea and then you just sit down, and what way does that work? I'd love to get an insight to that.
If I have if I'm just playing around, I'd go onto YouTube and I'd find just pre-made beats, and I'd just write whatever I could think about over it. But if I have something set in stone, like an idea for a song, or even like an actual lyric I want to be in there, depending on like what the mood of the song is, what I'm starting to do now is completely different. But what I normally do is I'd find a beat off YouTube, I'd base it around what that is. But I'm working with Machu over there. He's sort of making beats with me now, so he's having his input on it while like sort of producing together.
Brilliant.
So any time lately I'm getting to sit down and produce, it's been with him and helped by him.
Oh, savage. And do you do all your work in your house, in the studio, or?
It varies. Like, I know there's a song where like it's very it's early, but it's in an early stage, I should say. But he sings a lot. You should know that, and he makes that known. But he recently wrote his part, so all we're really waiting on is me to write my part. I hadn't got the chance to sit down and just think about it and do it.
You've done a collaboration together, didn't you?
Yeah.
Cry Me a River.
Was
it Cry Me a River?
That was a very funny story because
Tell us. Big T over there in the corner. Come on, Big T.
I was like a big body of work in, like, do you know where you'd hear of an album? Have you heard of like an EP? Yeah. I was working on an EP that just, it fell apart, if I'm being honest.
You just old man me there, didn't you? Do you know what an EP is?
No, because
I can't believe I got old man there. Do you know what a DVD is?
But
You fucker. Use kids, I guess.
But I was working on an EP, and there was Think Too Hard, that song we were just talking about, that was on it, and Cry Me a River was on it. They're the two songs that only got released off that EP, and I had about, I'd say like 9-10 songs ready to release. But Matthew came down to my house, or I should say the studio. But he came in, and he was just sitting there, and we were talking back and forth, and I was just playing him me music to get opinions, like to get a second voice on it. But he sort of said like something's missing in it, and he sort of he hummed it to himself, and he found a melody. All of a sudden he was singing. Then the next moment he was up in front of my microphone. He was singing. He was like, just singing. What you hear on, if you go listen to Cry Me a River, what you hear is just one take of him just coming up on the spot, really. And I already had most of the song pre-done. That's why I say it's a weird story, because he just comes in and he just not takes it over, but he takes it to a new level. Like before, without him singing on that, it's like a mediocre, like it's average on what I normally do. But he takes it to a new level. He just came in and did that one day. It was unreal, honestly.
So that's a good team he's putting together there.
Yeah.
Good man, Big T. How many songs have you got out at the moment? How many have you wrote and released?
That's weird to answer, because I, being a critic of my own work, I've released songs that I've took down. So all together, if I had kept all them up, I'm sure like my YouTube channel would be over 100 by now.
Wow.
But like they wouldn't be like full like 3-4 minute songs. They'd be like, some of them be like little like freestyles or whatever you call them. But what I have up now is nearly like 30-40 videos that I'm happy with to keep up. And I have a lot more just that I'm working on, and that not that I'm keeping a secret, but it's sort of like I'm keeping on like on a backbone, just like in the future.
On a backbone. I like it. I love that one. So come here, people are going to see, right, yeah, you just said you have 100 songs or you have 30 out released, and that sounds all fantastic. What were the struggles you had to make that kind of music? What were the difficulties that you faced? Because, you know, youngsters are going to be watching you now, and I don't care what you think, you're inspirational, you're inspiring these young lads. Yeah. They're seeing you stepping out of the group of sheep. You're going out there on your own, being a leader. Yeah. And they're going to be inspired by you. So what struggles and difficulties did you have that they may learn from you?
I'd say you're going to face a lot of what most people call writer's block. When you first start off, you're going to face a lot of that. You're going to try and write your first song, or even string together a couple of lyrics. But over time, you're just going to say, like, what am I doing? Like, we can't do this. I've said that plenty of times. But then again, I have people telling me, like, you're some of the greatest thing I've ever heard, and all. Like, I don't personally believe it. When you come up against that, what I'd say is take not even a couple of days. Some people say just leave it all together. I'd say turn whatever you're working on off, and something that, as you were saying, like a song that resonates with you, turn something like that on. Or even if it's watching a film or something, like taking your mind off it for a couple of hours, that seems to like restart your brain and get whatever creativity is in there, you just get to flowing, really, for me.
Deadly. So writer's block. Anything else that you faced? We know we've talked about it. Critics out in the street, your mate giving you, you know, lads giving you stick, I meant to be your mate, stuff like that.
Yeah. That's always gonna come in every, I think in everything. Like you could use another example of it and you'd probably still get it. Like if you joined like just whatever, you joined a football team just to train, people are gonna, this fella's trying to be the next Ronaldo, or like whatever. Or if you go and you try and learn jiu-jitsu, or you try and learn MMA, this fella thinking he's the next McGregor, you're gonna get a lot of that. I've got this fella thinks he's the Irish Biggie, and this fella thinks he's this, that, and the other. As I said to you earlier, I don't listen to it really.
Do you know, how do you protect yourself on that? Do you have a good network of friends around you? I know your family are good.
Yeah, it's the friends aspect. I wouldn't even say a small circle. It's a big enough circle, but it's tight-knit. Yeah. Like we've known each other for like a good chunk of time, like a good few years, and we've just stuck by each other. We still have. And
Deadly.
Any new faces, they either seem to find out what we're all about. It's just what me and my mates about is like, once, it's not even me in general, like I know what I have going on is like, I make music and I need support, but it goes for everybody. Like if one of my mates is having a bad time, I'll talk to him the same way he talks to me. Like, I'll try and get him out of a bad rut. I'll try and get all that. But there's certain faces, like, when they show up, they seem to only show up because, like, oh, they know me, and, like, they want to fuck the rest of the boys off and all this shit. But I like the way it is now. I have Matthew there. I still have, as you said, Robbie and all. I have him making videos. I have even the rest of the boys that I've known since school and all. They give me ideas for songs all the time. They pitch in on locations for videos. If they're going on a walk or if they're on the way home from work, like, and they see a cool spot, like, they'll text me straight away. They'll take a photo. They'll send it to me. Like, oh, I can imagine you here, and it'd be good for this sort of song and all. Like, it's good to have a close knit group, because it can work in your benefit, I think.
Savage. What's the Irish rap scene like? I've seen, we talked earlier just off the mic about that Instagram page. What's that called again?
Next Up Era.
Yeah. What's that whole community like in Ireland? Are you involved in that, or is there?
There's a lot of stuff going on now. There was a page called DFAC or DFACRA or however you pronounce it, but that's recently gone under a lot of I don't even know what it is. The page got taken down, then it got re-uploaded, and then it had different owners, and now it's back to the original owners. But that was like the top page in the Irish scene. But now you have all these small independent pages. They're making a name for themselves. There's these pages starting just specifically for Irish talent, like, to not even rap in general, to showcase. Like, I've seen plenty of pages that one day they'd upload, like, my sort of music, like an Irish fella just rapping. The next day they'd upload a young girl, like, singing, like, and it'd be like the same quality. Like, it'd be talent. That's what I think it needs. I think they need to get away from, like, because as I was talking about that page that's up and down, that's sort of a page that promotes the one brand of rap, and that's sort of, it needs to be boys sitting in blacked out Mercs, and they have big dogs there that they're holding on chains. But, like, I think what it needs to be more about is every sort of talent, because I've seen talent shine in this country, and it's not where the light is right now. It's not where everyone's looking. They see this fella sitting in a car, he's talking about, I sold this last week and I'll sell this next week. But then again, you have some girl or some even fella that's trying to sing, and because he's trying to sing or she's trying to sing, they're being told, like, yeah, like, still a few gigs, like, you might get paid a bit. They're not getting the attention as, like, oh, you're gonna be big, you're gonna be in lights, we're gonna make videos about you. And it's sort of like why not? Like, they have more talent than most of, like, I don't want to get too disrespectful to most of the Irish rap scene, but from what I'm hearing of just natural talent, it's better than what they're making, what they're showing they have. Because if you have the spotlight on you, why not use it?
Brilliant. That's a great show. Absolutely brilliant. What keeps you going? Obviously, there's no money in it for you at the moment. What keeps you going? What makes you just, I'm going to keep going? What drives you? What's the drive in it for you?
I'd say the love of it, but I feel like sometimes I fall out of love of it. Like, I get too critical about myself, and I say, no, I can't do this anymore. But then, as I said, like, that comes back to writer's block. That's when you experience that, and that's when you experience, like, people on the streets just getting to you and saying this, that, and the other. But, like, at the end of the day, it comes back to just loving it, and just that always being there. Like, McGregor, he always says he fights because he loves it. I have the same sort of mentality. I only do it because I love it.
Mm-hmm. How do you, when you said you get into a rut and all that, how do you get yourself out of that? Is that like you just feel down and just not in a good place? How do you get yourself out of that?
By either making music or listening to music. I feel it always resorts back to music with me.
Yeah,
that's one thing.
Yeah, and I can resonate with you, Paulie, as well. There's times when I'm doing this podcast and I've wanted to pack it all in. I woke up one day, you know what, I'm bleeding sick of this. Like, no one even listens, no one gives a rat's. Like, yeah, I'm doing it, but nothing. But it's not about that. It's about, like, it's just me feeling off. It's just me feeling down.
Yeah.
But then when I start to get back in momentum, I start doing videos again. I got, man, I love this. Like, I do. I love sitting here with you. And this is really what I want to do.
Yeah.
Is that similar to you?
I think it's the sort of similar what I go through. I hate not hate it, but there's sometimes when I dislike the process of sitting down, finding a perfect beat and writing, but like the same way you get when you're sitting here and you're doing it, you get that love. When I'm in front of the microphone and I'm ready to do it and I know it's gonna turn out good if I perform good, that's when I'm in my element with it. That's when I love it the most. But it's like, as you said, it's the mornings when you wake up and you think about it and like all that sort of stuff. That's when you really doubt yourself. But there's always gonna be moments where you have to shine.
Yeah. How impactful is the Liberties and where you're from on the work that you write or the way you perform? You know, I owe a lot of this place, a lot of my talent, my interest from the Liberties, how I grew up, where I grew up. Like I said earlier, me poison is now my passion, and I base that because of the Liberties, the bad stuff that happened and also the good stuff. Does that come into you when you do your writing and how you perform and your whole...
In general, I think it's always been there. Like in my mannerisms and the way I talk. Like I think I represent that enough. But what I'm trying to do more is I've only made 2 videos so far, but I have more planned, and I'm trying to base them around the Liberties. Like shot mainly in the Liberties.
Love it.
Promoted 2 people in the Liberties. Just I wouldn't even call it a fan base. Just the people that want to listen. Just if I make music and they want to listen, that's all right. Like that's cool.
Absolutely brilliant. What do kids need? If you're giving any advice to kids in school,
I think for kids coming up in school that have any sort of creative passion, not even if it's rapping or if it's signs of like playing an instrument or if it's playing sports, anything, that should be more, not even facilities in general, there should be more involvement from teachers, from adults, from like parents and everything, because if talent is shown from a young age, it can only it can only grow in potential. Like that's if you show potential at a young age, you should be looked at not different, but you should be looked at like he deserves. Like everyone, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but everyone deserves their own sort of like.
I know what you're trying to say, and it's deadly. So if anyone shows any kind of potential, they should be nurtured.
Yeah.
They should be grown. They should be like, this fella has a bit of potential, shine a light on him, give them some time. Yeah, I think, and it's a great point you're making, Paulie. Like at a young age, kids need to be nurtured. You need to grow from youth. Give the youth a chance. And just that's why I'm so impressed by you, that and why you will inspire younger people. You will inspire kids in Franner, kids in Jambo, Sing Street, wherever. They'll see you because you're a young lad. And that's what they need, don't they? And that's a great point you're making. Like adults should be looking out for this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know I didn't get it when I was a kid, I wasn't talent spotted or nobody was looking out for me, it was just get the skill and shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an absolutely great point.
There was certain after school clubs that tended it, like for me and like the kids I grew up with. There was I think the name of it was Swicken or something like that, but we just called it the computer club or whatever we called it because we went there after school, and that had like a sort of like studio room. I had camera equipment, so any like we made like short films there, and we made all this sort of stuff. But I think it needs more places. I need like that, even during school hours or after school hours, because I know most kids didn't go because like they wanted to go home, be out with their mates. Me, like being me as a kid, I kept to myself, so I had nobody going to that, and like that I felt like if I was having a good time with it, I wasn't gonna like, as you said, like be a sheep and just go and like sit on the stairs with the boys and all. Like if I was gonna go and do something with me time and like it's gonna make me happy and make me, as I said, progress, I'd do it anytime.
Daily. Just touching on that point you made there about nurturing talent, I know from your mum and your dad on Facebook they're huge supporters of it, and that's deadly, because a lot of young lads and ladies growing up, they be told to here, get a job, there's no money in rapping or blah blah blah. They seem to support you. Is that the case?
I think they see they support, but they also see a lot of other support as well. That's what really, like, I wouldn't say fascinates them, but that's what's like they hear the music, the same as everyone else hears it, but it's like they do hear it differently. Like most people, they hear like a rap song. My dad would like that's my son. Like he's obviously gonna love it, but like the support I get shown, not even by them, by most of my family members or friends. It's just, it's like I don't know how to react to it sometimes. It's mainly, it's overwhelming. It's just it doesn't get to me, but at the same time, I feel like I've a lot to live up to. Going back, like I feel like I have somewhere to get to. That's where it comes to as well. Like it doesn't feel like I'm at the end of a road. It feels like I'm going somewhere.
Yeah, I want to touch on something you say there. You know, when people say to me about the podcast, oh, it's great, or your videos or whatever. Sometimes, like what you were just saying there, Paulie, I don't know what to do with it. Because growing up, I didn't have people tell me, oh, I was good at this, or great at that, I was deadly. I used to get stick because I was small, and I was fat, and I was ginger. Yeah. I got kind of bullied as a kid. Yeah. So growing up, hearing people say these nice things to me. Now, my folks say nice things, my family, my brother and all them say nice things, but people say nice things, I don't know what to do with it. I get uncomfortable, you know what I mean? I switch the subject, or you know what I mean? It's great with a podcast because we're doing stuff. Do you feel like that too? Is that something that you...
Yeah, I didn't really get it much myself. It was sort of like, that came when everyone else started doing it. Like it all just came as a wave. Like one person said it, then all of a sudden I knew I was getting 5 people saying it, then 10 people were saying it, and then I was getting messages saying, oh, I love you, from people I've never met. It turns into that. Mainly like overnight. I wasn't putting out there to get support, but it came along the way. You know, in a way I was sort of asking for it, I guess, like, oh, like, I put this here, it'd be good if you could go listen to it and all, but like 1,000 views isn't much compared to like people that get millions and all, but to me, when like a song I only put out at this moment, it's only out 2 days and it's coming up to 3 days, that hit 1,000 views yesterday, and like that was surreal for me because I only have a channel with just over 100 people subscribed. So for me to get a video out, look, when it's realistically, it's only going to 130, 40 people, and I got 1,000 views in like a day. It's unreal to me, but like some going back to it, like people saying like that's another thing they do is like he's a little rapper, like all that sort of stuff, like. But like then again, it doesn't bother me. I don't do it for like any sort of like any sort of support, but it comes.
Deadly. When you see these like 1,000 followers or 1,000 views on it,
yeah,
and you're saying, you know, that's surreal, but you don't like the compliments and all that's hard to take. But what happens if somebody gives you negative feedback? Can that impact you, or can you let that roll off you?
I always take it as I don't know who taught me it, but it was any criticism, think of it as constructive criticism. It doesn't matter even if it's directed at you in a hateful way, like they're screaming at you. Always take it constructively, and just like they're saying that for a reason. Like something, not something's wrong, but something must be like something could be changed or something could be done differently. But then again, it's always gonna be said. You're always gonna get that sort of reaction and all.
Yeah. Absolutely. Me and you were talking earlier, and we are talking about the different types of raps and moods that you put into it, like funny, deep stuff.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to us a little bit about that, kind of some of the stuff that you do, some of the darker stuff, some of the lighter stuff? You know, I believe that as an artist, it's nice to show all sides of that. You can have the crack, but also talk deep and get into the, you know, like as in mental health or humour. Can you share us a little bit about that?
It varies on like my mood in general. When I'm in the midst of writing or in the midst of like coming up with an idea for it. If I'm in a mood where I've been out with my friends all day and we're doing nothing but like buzzing off each other and we're laughing and joking, I'm gonna write sort of like a funny, not so serious song. But like if I've spent the day sitting at home on my own, no one's texted me, no one's tried to ring me, like I'm gonna say some stuff that like it's deeper than like normal. And then if I'm like, then again, like if I was to be drinking, or if it was only recently that I was out, I'd try to make a song people can dance to, and like it just varies with my mood, I guess. Whatever I'm writing, but I have like not even different genres, different sort of moods as well. I've done plenty of songs like that, and even songs that are up now.
Like what? Give us some that we can look into. What would start like? What's the song that you really enjoyed? Is the one that I love doing that? That was a deadly one. That's one of my best ones. Like the interviews. So some I look back and go, that was absolutely whopper. Is there any of them that you really?
There's a song I made called "Hold On." that it samples a Drake song called it's the same by the same name, Hold On, and in the video, not the video, in the song I made, it was sort of like I was inspired by something I seen that was something like it told a story through the whole song, and I said I want to try something like that. So what I said, I approached it completely differently than I would normally. I sat down and I wrote it out as like if I was casting someone like for a film, or if I was writing a script for a film, I came at it like that. And first of all, I come up with the story. And once I had a concrete story that I knew, like, it's a good story, people will recognise that story, I wrote the song about that story. So it's sort of like I don't really know how to word it, but if you listen to that song, Hold On, it was on the EP I released called Let Me Introduce, and it's the opening track to that. It tells a story. I don't want to tell the story because if people want to go listen to it, but towards the end of it, it'll sort of hit you. There's a lot of it's not personal. It's sort of, as I said, I come up with the story and like I just wrote it, but it's sort of like, you know, like a Shakespeare tragedy. Like there's like a love interest at the start of it, then something happens to like break that up, and then towards the end it sort of gets like a bittersweet ending. That's sort of like, that's how I could summarize it.
Deadly. I listen to a lot of, you know, like whether philosophy or whether it's, you know, inspirational reading and Wayne Dyer and all that. And that inspires my writing and reading and my expression through the podcast and all that. What inspires you? Who do you listen to? What do you follow? What really gets you going? What will get you in the mood?
It's mainly, I wouldn't say whatever's like out there, but that sort of influences as well. Like me personally, if going back to like being where I want to be, I know if I stick to just doing what I want to do and sticking to that and being in a mindset where I'm not changing, that's only gonna get me to a certain place. But if we can not copy off someone or mimic them, if we can sort of watch how they do it and do my own take on that and see that like it can work in, like, just say if I'm looking at what's good now in jazz music, and I sort of take that on board and I make a rap song that sort of not mimics that, but it's sort of in that sort of genre.
Love it.
And then I can do that with any sort of genre, but it's sort of like watching what's grown and sort of not even like nipping it in the butt, but just like not even proving to myself, but just getting involved with it. Like if something's grown, I'd like to get involved with it. Right. So I'm not stuck to just the sort of rap that you'd hear like Biggie Smalls like rap. Like I'd make fast rap, I'd make dance rap, I'd make old school rap. Then the next week I'd make a guitar beat. Like I'd do everything. Savage.
So you listen to this and you listen to what's kind of hip and trendy at the moment,
yeah,
and you put your own twist on it.
Yeah, like I'd like, you know, Spotify and all. Like I'd go on to. He thinks I'm calling him out again, but I didn't mean. But I'd go on to Spotify.
Is that on the internet? Do you know the interweb?
No. It's an app. It's called an app on your phone.
Okay. Will you show me after this? Yeah. This I love this kid.
But I'd
up the flats.
But I'd go on to Spotify and I'd find a certain playlist, or like a rap playlist. And whatever's in like the top 5 of that, I'd know like everyone's listening to that sort of sound now. So I'd make my version of that sound. Deadly. But if you go into like a dance hall type of playlist where you hear all these, like what you'd hear in nightclubs and what you'd hear like Big T over there, what you'd hear him play at some of his sessions and all, like that sort of music, you can sort of make your own twist to it. Deadly. And I think that's a good way to show versatility, but it's also a good way.
That's savage. I'm seriously impressed. You know, that's like getting I'm trying to computerize this. It's like getting research papers, taking what the learning is, and then creating your own study, creating your own work based on what's already working. That's fucking genius. That's deadly. What's the plan for the future? What's happening? What have you in the pipeline? Any collaborations? Are you doing work with the session mat over there, Big T?
A good bit of work with him, mate. We have a song that should be coming up with both of us on it. But from here on out, I'm hoping to have him produce like what sort of beats I go over, like all that sort of stuff to keep it like based in a team and to keep it like controlled and all. So I'm not going out working with other people that like down the pipeline like just sort of like not even use it, but like sort of just like drift off. I'd rather work closely, as I was saying. But in the pipeline, working with him it's like a priority now. But with the likes of working with other people as well, I do want to keep it to a friend level. But I have other artists in the Irish scene that do want to work with me, and that should be upcoming as well.
Deadly. Is there any beef going on in the rap scene? There's always something going on in rap. Any fallings out?
Personally, I don't want to drop any names because
Deadly.
I know who I'm talking about. I don't know if he would listen to this, but apparently he has a lot to say about me, and I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't really want to give him lie.
But there's lie. I love it. That's obviously a cool thing to say.
No,
Not for us out, lads.
Kill things.
Yeah, but there's always something going on in rap, isn't there? You can't be rap without having vibes or having bad vibes. But now, look, I'm only pulling your leg. I was told by one of my pals not to do this, not to ask you to do a rap, but you and T had decided that you would do a rap.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind sharing that with us, I'd love to hear something from you. What are you gonna do?
Well, what we were thinking of doing, or what we are gonna do, is what you can expect to be the next video I put out. It's a song called "Think Too Hard." It's me and it's featuring a mate of mine called Russ. He goes by the artist name of Rossi, like Russ with an I at the end of it, and that's what we're making the next video of. I'll probably just give a glimpse of that now.
Sweet. Big T, have you any sounds for us?
2 seconds. It's taken its time.
So we're having technical difficulties here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is up and coming in the Irish scene that you really like? Give us some names if that's okay. Who can I other than you?
There's a good few people that like I wouldn't say I'm watching, but I do see their work a lot, and there's who could I really talk about? There's a fella I really like called Slick Bullet. He raps and he produces and all this sort of stuff. But in terms of artists, there's not really many of them that I go out my way to listen to. It's sort of like I keep to myself in it, and I have my own taste of music. Because my taste of music, like, it doesn't limit itself to rap. Like one minute I could be listening to rap, the next I could be listening to rock and roll, and so on.
Deadly. Who did you like in the? Do you interested in 90s rap? Like,
Oh yeah, big into 90s rap.
Eminem, Dre.
Yeah. Big into them. Eminem.
I know them.
You know them personally.
They were mine. Man, tell you were black and white. I was watching that shit. I was like Vanilla Ice going around the flats with ginger hair and me Air Jordan jacket. You up the flats? I was killed one time, you fucker. I wasn't always old and baldy.
I believe it.
He's deadly. What beats are we gonna play? Do we just press play in this?
Just press play.
Just press play. I feel like me nanny with a Nokia phone. Do I just press play? That's deadly. No more bringing these fucking kill kids into the studio. Making a show of me. Or do I hold it to this way?
Yeah, OG of the whole crew. Yeah, that's me. What you gon' do? Yeah, up front of me on cue. Yeah. Next up on its OG. Yeah, heads down when I head true. And 3 rounds in the bedroom. Yeah, jump start better jump up. Yeah, all the boys are turned up. Yeah. Yeah, all the boys are effed up. Yeah, all the boys are gon' flex. Yeah, all the boys are up next. Yeah, all y'all boys need to. Cause look, all y'all boys are all vexed. Yeah, all the love turns to hate. Even the bad turns to grey. And all the girls feeling good. But now the men start to break. And breaking up bad like Walt. Thinking it's all your fault. All this stuff on my plate. Yeah, who's gonna pass the salt? Over drinking, swimming in vodka, now I'm sinking. I not think too much, but nothing does help besides the kush. Over drinking, swimming in vodka, now I'm sinking. I not think too much, but nothing does help besides the kush.
Deadly. Paulie, that was absolutely savage. Fair play. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. I appreciate
Come here,
that, man.
as I ask all people before we leave the interview and we're closing, what's the one thing you'd like people to take away after listening to this interview or listening to you?
I'd like you to take away that I hope I haven't took up too much of your time anyway, but I'd like you to take away that don't overlook talent, because if you can, I'd like you to go check me out, and I hope in the future you stay listening to me and Matt over here. But what I'd like to say is don't overlook people, because some people just shine brighter than others, and I'll leave it at that.
Yo, deadly. Look, I can't thank you enough. This has been your first interview. Fair play to you. You're doing absolutely fantastic. I'm not blowing smoke up your hole. This is nerve-wracking coming into someone's strange Gava studio.
Of course.
But I promise you, this is going to be you going forward. You have the talent. You obviously have the work ethic. You're terribly humble. You're from the Liberties. You have all the bells and whistles to succeed. You know, not only are you're winning your talent, you're inspiring kids around here. I'm delighted to have you on the podcast. I'm delighted to get you on first as well.
It was great to be
I
here.
promise you from the bottom of my heart, I'm rooting for you. I'm going to keep following you. I'm going to make sure you don't give up. I said to you today, you have the talent. Don't fucking give up. Something tells me you're not. I'm just going to keep watching you. And even if you come around and show me how to use Spotify, and if I go back on Tinder one time, you can fucking get me back on Tinder or something, because that's what all these cool kids are using. Look, Paulie, I'm absolutely delighted to get you on. You're an absolute legend, son. Fair play to you. You're a legend. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, so that's it. Thanks very much for watching, listening, wherever you are. As always, mind your little self. If there's anything in that or any of the interviews that we do